I'm glad to welcome you here. This is our, I don't really remember what number of this webinar is, 127th, I think, meeting of Russian chapter, which is being hosted twice per month. In this case, we have Lucio Tirone, the leader of Italian chapter of INCOSE, a technical director of consulting and engineering company in Italy. I'm glad that Lucio is going to share what systems engineering actually means in Italy from the non-commercial organization perspective, which is not that typical for us, I have to admit, from the engineering and consulting company perspective, and from the educational perspective, as far as I understand. So I'm not going to spend a lot of your time on the introduction. Just be advised that we are going to have a question and answer section at the end of this meeting, so I won't interrupt Lucio during his report. Please type your questions either in public chat or directly to, I would say in public chat, that would be a better solution. And, well, here comes a short Russian introduction of what we're going to, and we'll go on. Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги! Я рад приветствовать вас на нашем 127-м заседании русского отделения INCOSE, российского, русскоязычного отделения INCOSE. Сегодня для нас сделает доклад Лючио Тироне. Лючио Тироне председатель итальянского отделения, сооснователь консалтинговой инжиниринговой фирмы. И сегодня мы должны будем разобраться с тем, как системная инженерия и для чего системная инженерия существует в Италии, что с ней делают с точки зрения общественных организаций, что, на мой взгляд, не слишком типично для нас, но при этом у нас есть возможность для того, чтобы сделать общественные блага и в этом направлении в частности. Мы узнаем, что происходит в системной инженерии с точки зрения консалтинговой инжиниринговой фирмы, и мы посмотрим на то, как устроено образование в области системной инженерии в Италии. Я хочу обратить ваше внимание на то, что вы можете писать мне комментарии личными сообщениями на русском языке. Я с удовольствием переведу их в конце нашего мероприятия. Давайте договоримся, что мы не будем перебивать Лучио вопросами, потому что через полчаса, через час у нас будет сессия вопросов и ответов. So that was pretty much it. Lucio, you're ready to go. Please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexander. I thank you for the Russian chapter, of course, of INCOSE. I thank all of you for the opportunity to introduce a little bit of us, of the Italian Association of Systems Engineering, my company Aster, and myself. So I will take this short time to give an overview of what is going on today in Italy in the field of systems engineering. At first, I would like to start with a very short introduction about myself. I'm an engineer with electronic engineer with some international experience, starting when I was a student, and increasingly during my career I've been involved in projects which have an international span. So in Europe, in North Africa, in the Middle East, I've been in telecommunication, transportation, aerospace and defense systems. And in 2012 I achieved INCOSE CSAP certification. I was the first in Italy to achieve that. And I've been a co-founder and I'm currently technical director of Aster, which is the company I will introduce to you later on. And I've been involved with system architecture and design courses in universities here in Italy. I founded, together with other 5 people, the Italian Association of Systems Engineering back in 2014, and I'm currently serving as president of the association and representing Italian chapter of INCOSE for all 2007. I will talk to you today about AISE, the voluntary association that represents the I will talk a bit about Aster to show you we interpret the role of systems engineering in our industrial context, and then I will talk to you a little bit also about training in universities. Let's start from AISE. AISE is a free association which is independent from it is legal and in the territory, which was established in November 2014, so active since the beginning of 2015, as an independent association, which established a memorandum of understanding with INCOSE in order to represent the Italian chapter of INCOSE. This is an important step because we followed the trend of several chapters to have the possibility to manage independently, and so in a more direct way, the member base. So Italian members of the Italian Association of Systems Engineering are, of course, automatically also members of INCOSE and vice versa, with some rules, obviously. We have today almost reached the number of 100 members, and about 300 people are following us in our web group. The presentation has fallen, now is returning. So basically, INCOSE is composed by individual members, but also by corporate members. So starting from 2016, we started having corporate members, so recognizing support by organizations, both industries and universities and research institutions. This is our board of directors, of course, is there for your reference. There are all the contacts. This is to show you that you need quite a team to perform the range of activities that we have in mind. And I'm proud to lead this team in performing all our initiatives. This is the current state of individual membership. We've been constantly growing in the last years. The overall number of members from 2015 was 61 people. Today is 96 and increasing. The only little bit concern we have is regarding student members, because in the last year, especially this year, end of 2016 and beginning of 2017, situation with our university courses has been reduced a little bit. So we have seen in the last couple of years a reduction in the student members, but however many of them became regular members, so we didn't have renewals of students, but still those who were involved with our activities have continued to do so. And so these are our numbers as individual members. While, as I was saying, we have also established a range of corporate members. So I show you this screen to also show you our policy, how we intend corporate members to interact with us. So we organize the types of membership according if the entity has a commercial interest, so maybe the possibility to have advertising of their own products and processes and values and so on. So we have 4 ranges of membership according to the size of the company and the turnover, of course. So we have bronze members, for example, which pay a very small fee compared to normal associations of this kind for the year. We have silver, gold, and platinum. For this kind of membership, we have a different level of recognition on our website, during our events, and so on. And there is also a number of individual memberships associated with the corporate membership. So we see that as the level increases, the number of members which are allowed to be part of the chapter is higher. And then we have another category which is for public entities. So typically universities and research institutes who are considered supporter. Supporter means there is no need to pay a fee, but maybe there is a cooperation to organize events. They put their facilities available for our events, and so on. And this is the current list of AISE corporate members. As you can see, we have 3 platinum, including Leonardo, which is the largest, one of the largest industries in Italy. We have railway, we have energy fields. Aster, my company, is a gold sponsor. Then we have other smaller companies providing sometimes tools like Esteco, or providing systems engineering training like PPI and SE. In the third row, you see the universities we are collaborating with. So we have Turin Polytechnic, Calabria University, Tor Vergata University, and the National Institute of Astrophysics. These all have been recognized as supporters of the Italian Association of Systems Engineering. I want to, let's say, as a way of supporting and promoting the development of the Russian chapter, I want to show you which are the key elements that we believe are pushing the activities of the Italian chapter. And we prepared this list. I will have a slide for each of these topics. So at first, of course, there is a strong interaction with the INCOSE Central, with the EMEA sector, with Jean-Claude, who is leading in a very efficient way all the chapters related to the Europe and Middle East and Africa sector, and with the chapters themselves. Then there are a number of things which we believe are key issues. First one is planning. Any chapter should base their activities in the beginning of the year with a good planning base. Then communications through the website, through LinkedIn groups, through a newsletter, of course. So we started last year publishing our newsletter, through working groups. Direct involvement of members happens a lot with activities carried out by the working groups. And then we have performed alliances. So other associations, other technical, of course, associations, which may be useful for spreading systems engineering, because as we know, there are not many communities which recognize, which really know all the details of what systems engineering is. So we have been doing alliances. We have been contacting our members. So we conduct a survey every February to know the status of satisfaction of our members, to understand if there are needs, if there are concerns, if there are volunteers, everything that allow the board of the chapter to be in relation with the members. Then promotion of system engineering professional certification, of course, and of course the main thing is events. So in order to show the activities of the association, you need to carry out a number of good quality events. We don't have many of them, but we believe we deliver events which have good quality. So we start with interaction with INCOSE. Of course, as I said, we coordinate our strategies together with INCOSE Central in the strategy sessions of the International Symposium and International Workshop twice a year. And monthly we have these webinars together with Jean-Claude Russell and the other chapter leaders of the EMEA sector. Then we promote joint events. For example, the South European Systems Engineering Tour. We have joined it in 2016 and we are renewing it again this year. It had moderate success last year, and also this year number of participants is increasing, and the quality of the presentation is increasing, and we are very happy about it. It is going to be held next week between Paris, Rome and Madrid. Supporting, for example, the EMEA workshop, the event that will be held in Mannheim in September, where we will have a training, verification, validation and testing session. And of course, this webinar is also one of the actions I am talking about. So interacting with Alexander and the Russian chapter in order to maybe find out commonalities, common interests, and synergies. Why not? Planning, it is a key point because I experiment personally that when a chapter leader, chapter president starts his office, he has these documents as a tool to transmit what are his views on the management of the chapter. We develop a strategic plan for the 2 years of this board, the current board, and this plan highlights all the objectives of the 2 years operations. Following the strategic plan, there are a number of yearly plans, so operational plan, membership management, communication, and ambassador management. These documents are updated every year, and I believe they are important to highlight the ideas, the main ideas behind the activities that are performed. And that is also why we make these documents public and available to all members and non-members of the chapter. They are on our website in the free downloadable section. So these were very, very key points in our chapter when we started implementing plans. Another aspect, of course, is communications. We created a new website last year, a new homepage, which is a complex platform where members can have access to a public area and also to a private area with their own credential, where all documents are made available, where there is a space for storing documents and maybe webinar recordings and so on. We also have a specific website for our yearly conference, the Italian Conference on Systems Engineering, which we hold once a year. And also we have a LinkedIn group. So let's say we try to use also social media, not much. We don't have LinkedIn, we don't have Facebook, basically for, I believe, timing reasons. It would be very time consuming to host all of these initiatives. LinkedIn group is already enough for us. It's a professional network which we believe is useful. Next element is the newsletter. As I said, we had a discussion on which would be a good rate of issuing of our newsletter, and we decided for a bi-yearly, so every 6 months we have a new issue of our newsletter, and we found that this format was good enough for our contents. We call it Viewpoints. In 2016 there were 2 issues, which you see on this slide. We are currently working on number 3 that we plan to issue in July this year. To show you some of the contents of the newsletter, this slide unfortunately is in Italian. I didn't have time to translate it. Anyway, inside our newsletter we talk about our events, of course. We talk about our people. We ask our members to describe themselves, to describe why they are interested in systems engineering and how they came to be part of the association of INCOSE. We also publish the contents of the main publications of INCOSE, so the Insight magazine or the Systems Engineering magazine. We ask some of our members to take a read at the magazine, highlight maybe some interesting article and say something about that. Or we have a section about the INCOSE handbook. So we comment some chapters or paragraphs of the INCOSE handbook. So these are roughly the contents of our newsletter. Another element characterizing the activity is in the working group. We have 3 of them. The oldest one is the VVT, Verification, Validation and Test. It's been active since 3 or 4 years now. It was recently joined by a working group which is dealing with project management and systems engineering integration, and very, very interesting topic. And another working group dealing with operations and maintenance. These working groups are specific of our chapter, and sometimes there is, let's say, an integration of the contents of these working group activities with the relevant INCOSE central working groups. This is an efficient way to involve people who are interested in using system engineering practically in their daily working activities. Talking about alliances, we have signed some conventions with PMI, for example, with the Project Management Institute. All 3 Italian chapters of PMI, because we feel that there is a value if we reach the very wide base of project managers who many times wonder why with so many good practices around projects are still having problems. And I believe a very good way to solve those problems is to have an integration between project management and systems engineering methodologies. So in this view, we did this alliance with PMI. We also did with AFSIA, the Association of Military Industries and Final Users, and with MIMOS, which is a modeling and simulation association in Italy. These are slides taken from the survey. As I told you before, every February we interrogate our members, asking even difficult questions like how do you evaluate the performance of the chapter? So how do you think that the chapter board has responded to your needs? and we ask feedbacks on our events, feedbacks on our activities. We ask for volunteers, so basically the survey is a very important tool, and we normally publish our planning documents after the survey. So in February we collect these feedback from the members. In March we publish our planning documents for the year. And another thing is promotion of certification. You know how valuable is certification program of INCOSE. This slide shows you the increase in certifications worldwide over the last years. The numbers are still not high, not comparable with those with the other types of certification, but they are surely increasing. And also in Italy the same is happening. So as you can see from this slide, in 2012 there were no certified systems engineers in Italy. Today we are over 35, so we are rapidly increasing year by year. And we are also going to certify our first ESEP, our first expert system engineer professional this year, so we are very happy about that. Of course, events are key to the success of the chapter. Starting from last year, we are having chapter meetings. Again, we hold them every 6 months, not like you twice a month. Well, why? Because we find it quite hard to provide content with a very high rate, and also considering that we don't really have large numbers to count on. And anyway, these are the key events that we've been holding during the last years, related to space, related to defense. In the last November, we held the second conference, CISE, the Italian Conference on Systems Engineering, and we decided to make it yearly because of the good success that we achieved. And so in fact we are planning a new edition for 2017. We have just issued a call for papers, and we hope to have good success for it as well. It will be held in Napoli this year. While here you can see other events. So the South European Systems Engineering and a couple of specific industry events with Leonardo and with Aster. As you can see, we don't hold many events. We tend to concentrate on maybe 1, maximum 2 events per quarter in order to have the right level of quality and of participation by the members. And this is a summary of the results. We encourage also other chapters that we know to participate to the chapter award program of INCOSE, which is a collection of points related to all the different types of activities performed. And by doing this, before 2015, we never even applied. But we started using it as a tool to plan, to understand gaps and strength points. And last year, so for 2015, we received an honorable mention chapter award. While this year, we've been very happy to receive a gold circle award and the director's award for most improved chapter. This will be officially delivered to us in Adelaide, in the international symposium that will be held in July in Australia. Good. So basically, this is all for AISE, for the Italian chapter of INCOSE. I hope I made as wide as possible overview of all our activities. And now I will talk to you a little bit about ourselves, about Aster. Aster is a system engineering company. There are not many systems engineering companies, I have to say. It's a market where we found proper space as the entity which is between the end users and the industry. And we provide engineering and consultancy to both parties, both to the final users and to the industry. So our mission is to support the general contractors, prime contractors, and public bodies and governmental institutions with high-level systems engineering and innovative technological solutions. Basically, we are not a large company. We are less than 60, even though we have an international presence in North Africa and in the Middle East, as you can see in this picture. I will not spend too much time. Later you will be able to read all the details in the PDF presentation. We strongly believe in qualifications and partnerships. So we have been the first company in Italy having a certification agreement with INCOSE. So apart having ISO 9001 and NATO security clearance, we signed the certification agreement with INCOSE to implement a plan to certify our engineers, which is at this moment starting to be implemented. And also we made the strategic partnerships with the tool vendors in the systems engineering domain. For example, IBM, which is of course a key developer of tools for continuous engineering and requirements management. Then with the Reuse company, a Spanish company providing solutions for requirements quality management, and Phoenix Integration, which is a company which does a great tool for integrating model-based systems engineering and simulations. And of course we are corporate members of AISE, as you have already seen. We are part of the Italian Association of Experts in Critical Infrastructures, the IMO body called IALA, and AFSEA, of course. Our customers, as I told you before, go from public bodies, so Coast Guards, Ministry of Transport, aviation academies, European Space Agency or Defense Agency. From this type of users to the industry. So we work for MBDA or for Leonardo, Elettronica, Telespazio, and so on. So our range of customers is quite high. And what do we provide? We provide consultancy, so support in the implementation of architectural frameworks, of business process analysis, of modeling, use case analysis, model-based system engineering, modeling of systems and of software. But not only, we also provide tools, so we are resellers of those tools that I described to you before for the Italian territory, and we are able to provide the configuration of these tools, to provide support in the implementation of the models, so to stay side by side with the users of those tools. And we also provide training. So we provide training in methodologies, in the use of the tools, and in the configuration of the tools. Also in the preparation for systems engineering professional certification. So actually systems engineering and model-based systems engineering is really the core of our services. Sometimes we provide just project management or risk assessments or requirements engineering. Other times we provide development of architectures or specific studies or feasibility or support to operations. But in any case, we always rely on model-based systems engineering. All our tasks in some way are related to the application of object-oriented, of modeling, of systems thinking in the dealing with projects. And this is our experience in the training. So we provide several types of training. We participate to the university courses. That is the first bullet. The second bullet is training courses provided to industry. Preparation to exam or IBM Rhapsody or whatever, or systems engineering introduction. And of course, all our trainings are provided by certified systems engineering professionals. As you can see, the very first professional certifications in Italy were done by Aster. And currently we are one of the few companies in Italy having certified people. So this is, for example, the list of courses that we are developing together with the University Guglielmo Marconi. So courses on the methodology in systems engineering, on the integration between system engineering and project management, on technical leadership, training on the job, and so on. A few support projects. We've been involved in public transport projects, for example, in Riyadh, in the vessel traffic management system in Algeria, or in the coastal surveillance system in Kuwait. There is clearly no need to go in detail in these projects today, but we could do it in the future if there is an occasion to describe some more about our involvement in this project. Or, for example, we have been developing an architecture repository for the European Defence Agency, so we deliver a software platform to them. Or we perform the infologistic studies for the Italian Navy, so it was business process analysis of the logistic chain. Or we support life extension of message handling systems, so systems which are obsolete, which need to be renewed, and we support the refurbishing of those equipments. Very good. I'm going quickly to the end because I see that the time is really running. So I will talk to you a little bit about universities in Italy delivering systems engineering courses. The source of the material is a worldwide directory of academic programs. Is a document which is held and published by INCOSE every year. And information taken from this source show us that there are actually a quite large number of universities in the world delivering courses in systems engineering. The situation in Italy is not very advanced, I should say. There are 3 entities, as you can see in the first table, 3 organizations delivering system engineering courses. Later we will see which of them. There are many companies, many countries where there are even, I believe, a lot to be done, especially in Europe, I believe. As you can see, America is very forward on this. There are 128 universities in the US delivering systems engineering courses. There must be a reason for that. This is the types, of course. Here you can see in blue color the PhD level doctors, so the, let's say, second level degrees, while green is MSc, the master level course, and red is the bachelor level course. And as you can see, in Italy we only have second level courses. There is a real lack of systems engineering courses, undergraduate courses in our universities. And this is something that we are doing to change. I'm not sure about the situation in Russia. Later I will maybe talk about this with Alexander, or hopefully there is some question regarding this aspect. And so these are the courses that we have in Italy. There has been good cooperation between a couple of universities Italian chapter. In 2012, the Italian chapter participated in defining the curriculum of those master courses, and there was 2012-13, there was the first edition of the master course in systems engineering in the Rome University of Tor Vergata. The second was held by the Genova University, which is connected with an organization involved with maritime technologies. So it was Systems Engineering for Maritime Technologies Master. It was also very successful. It had 2 editions, 2014 and 15, and we are planning the new edition for 2017. So these 2 are universities. The third one is not a university, is a military school. So is of course limited to those people who are under the Army or the Navy or Air Force, and is a school delivering system engineering and project management master courses. And I can say that INCOSE chapter, Aster and myself have all provided our support in all these 3 types of courses. Very good. I believe this is all. I hope I have given a satisfactory overview of the status of our system engineering activities. And I would like to give back the word to Alexander, maybe to translate for me some of the questions that I see in the chat. I'm fully available for the next 10-15 minutes to continue with the question and answer section. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucio. I'm back. That will be actually interesting to me how our colleagues may accept my translation, because I tried really hard and I hope it's okay. But thank you anyway. The questions which we have in the chat. First one, it is about the handbook sections which you publish in your newsletter. Do you publish them in Italian or in English?
We publish in Italian, yes. We take sections, so excerpts from the handbook in English, but then our commentary is in Italian. And I can add that we did the effort of translating the handbook in Italian a few years ago with the version 3.2, and it was quite successful. Of course, not everybody is interested in having a translated book, because you lose the universality using English language to give the same things all over the world. However, there are still some situations where you can have a higher quality of those contents using local language. And in fact, we are also thinking of translating the version 4 of the handbook. In any case, in the viewpoints, those contents are all in Italian.
Thanks for that. Another one question is about working groups. Please, you may explain a bit more in detail how they were created, why, for what, and how do they actually function? Probably people gather together regularly. What do they publish? What are the results of the working groups? Something like that.
Yes. We create working groups with the initiative of our members, who has to publish a charter. We have a template for the charter, and they had to state the purposes and goals of the proposed working group, which is then analyzed by our technical director of the association, and once it is approved, we publish a call, so we ask other members to join in. And these members who share a common vision of what are the purposes for that working group, they meet, let's say, physically once a year during events, which happens in the end of the year, around November. But they also meet in other ways, so by email or WebEx during the year. Sometimes like we have a very active working group, which is the verification, validation and testing. They've been holding events, special events organized by the working group. This happened at least once a year, so that group had the chance to meet twice every year. And the content are, well, we still didn't have official deliverables. The goal would be to publish guides, so guidance documents to support anybody who is interested in those topics. But sometimes that is not easy to achieve when there are timing constraints. However, we are happy with the results obtained, which is some events and a joint session in our yearly conference. The other two working groups have been formed very recently, in November last year, and they are working mostly by email at the moment.
Thanks for that answer. Next question is about the individual membership price, which is that the same as the INCOSE Central? So, for instance, if a person wants to participate and pay a fee for Italian chapter directly, is that the same amount of money as they would pay through the INCOSE Central website?
No, it is not. The fee to join the Italian chapter is 104 euros. And so there is a quota of about 100 that go to INCOSE, and the rest is for the Italian association. So it is a common practice, but by all the chapters who work in this way, because having independent management of members, independent website, and activities, it's time consuming and also money consuming. So we ask this little support to our members with this additional expense.
Thanks for that. Another one question is, well, it was partly answered, but still, does the Italian chapter participate in any academia activities, like publishing articles or, for instance, graduation process, except the fact that the chapter members and the chapter itself help to create the curriculum?
We are starting one more thing. That was the first. So the curriculum and providing training, of course. So in all those master courses, the people who go to deliver engineering courses or system architecture or risk management come from the INCOSE chapter. This year also starting the promotion of a thesis, of a best thesis award. So in our conference we will promote the best thesis in systems engineering with an award, including also monetary award. But apart from this, no, there is no direct involvement with other initiatives.
Thanks for that answer. That was the last question from chat. I would just request my colleagues to probably ask something else. Уважаемые коллеги, если вы хотите задать еще какой-то вопрос, у вас сейчас есть возможность. And I now switch to English, probably asking the question about from the directorship point of view. You said that you are the chapter leader for 2 years already. Is that like always that way, or that was your decision to go through the elections second time, or how long do you stay a chapter leader after the elections? That's the question.
When we created the association, the AISE, we decided to follow as closely as possible the standard of INCOSE. So yes, we were free to choose our way, and we chose the same way as INCOSE, which is 2-year and every 2 years there are elections. The elections will appoint the new vice president, which is called president-elect, which means that the person who wins the elections will be vice president for the following 2 years, and after 2 years he will become automatically the new president. And we decided to follow exactly the same approach, and that was it. So I won the elections in December 2015. I started my term in January 2016, and so I will remain president until end of this year. And then the new board, the entire board will be changed. So the elections will be for all the roles of our board.
Okay, thanks for that also. I don't see, unfortunately, any other questions, or fortunately, because we spent the whole hour for that. I would like to thank you again. Well, yeah, just briefly thank you. There are obviously some key takeaways from the point of view of our organization of this specific event, from the point of view of what we heard today, what I heard personally. Oh, there are a couple of questions. First question, briefly. The events which you organize, do the people which attend have to pay for that? Is there any fee? And if the INCOSE members become a kind of discount?
Yes. In our main events, there is a fee. So let's say the 2 main events during the year are the SESE, the South European System Engineering Conference, which is held in second quarter now, next week, and there is a payment. And also for our main conference, the Italian conference, in November, there is a payment. Of course, the idea is that the payment is only symbolic as a contribution to the expenses. So typically, it is less than 100 euro. There is, for example, the SESE is 100 euro for non-members of INCOSE and 50 euro for members. Roughly the same is for our national conference. So these 2 main events, we want to give them higher quality, so provide catering, provide events like visits, and so we want to have a good venue, and that is why. The other events during the year, so presentations or other type of local events, instead are free. So typically, like working groups or presentations in companies, so those are free of charge.
Thanks for that answer. Another one question is about the, I think there are two kind of coming together. How is the budgeting process organized? I mean, is anything else except the event you have to pay for? And the second question, do the directors become a kind of salary? So that's the question, yeah, both of them.
All right. Difficult to answer. No, salary, no, there is no salary. Our is a volunteer association. So we don't pay any tax in Italy, and we don't have any salaries for all of us. So it is completely voluntary. Budgeting is done without any real expertise. So we start the year basically planning our main events and understanding our availability. Basically, we move with our own experience. We know roughly what kind of expenses we can afford during the year, and we allocate the budget to the things. It is done very amateurly way, but of course in a precise way, because in the end we have to comply with the Italian laws. So we basically have a number of fixed expenses, so including the accountant, which is external for doing the legal financial documents, the website hosting, a couple of websites hosting, and a few other things. And then we try to have sponsors for the events. We also have sponsors for the chapter, as you have seen. The corporate members are sponsors, and this is all.
Yeah, just a small correction about the question about budgeting was not how it is. Well, that was interesting also, but the question was what's the most money-consuming activity? Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. Well, the budget-consuming activities are the two conferences, of course. You need to rent a place where you don't have the university providing space. We have to accommodate for transportation, for example, buses to carry people to the visit or to the dinner. We pay for hosting international speakers, for example. So, for example, last year we invited John Thomas to participate in the conference in Turin in November, and we paid these travel expenses. So these are the main expenses that we have. I have to say that this year we had some surplus, so we've been investing in those as an initiative like the award to the best thesis or other things of this kind.
Okay. Now there are clearly no questions more. Yeah, I would gladly.
Another couple of minutes.
Yeah, I would gladly ask something from my side, but yeah, unfortunately I can't think about questions and translate at the same time. So sorry. Probably during our monthly meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Again, thank you very much. Yeah, that is pretty much clear that we didn't have such an amount of participants as we expected, but still we have a recording which will be split in relatively small parts. For instance, you have 3 topics covered. That will be 3 videos, I assume, just to make people, well, easier to review what you did. Thank you very much. That was really useful. I am pretty much sure we're going to use that from the directorate viewpoint, and I'm sure that the colleagues will be probably motivated to do something voluntarily. Yeah, that was the purpose of this. I mean, not the directors, but the colleagues in the country, the engineering colleagues. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks again. That was great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Remember, the best thing you can do as a director of the chapter is to think about delivering some value to your members. So when the members feel that they are receiving something, then they feel motivated to interact, to participate, and to even to contribute economically. So that is the key message I can leave you. And
Okay.
of course, we are fully available for any further support and joint activities, events, and whatever. I hope I will be meeting you or some other representative of Russian chapter in Adelaide, in Australia. And see you next time.
Thanks a lot, Lucio. I'll take it with me. See you next time.